chance to save a few $100, most people would probably take it. That's why today I'm going to be showing you how to check your refrigerant charge using Superheat and Sub cooling. Now, most HVAC companies charge a little over $100 an hour for a simple fix that you could most likely do on your own. One of those things is checking your refrigerant charge using Superheat and Sub cooling method. In this tutorial, you should learn how to properly check your refrigerant charge using the Superheat and Sub cooling method. Now, I learned all this from mostly my classes at Metro, but also working with my journeyman who's taught me quite a bit, and basically everything else I know in the HVAC industry. Now, starting out, not a lot of people are going to know what to do. You look at all this stuff and you don't know what's going on, you don't know what tools you need. I was the same way when I started, and eventually I figured out it's a lot easier than you think. Now, first we're going to go over what tools you need for the job, what everything you need, and then second I'm going to show you how to hook up your refrigerant hoses and your gauges, and then last I'm going to go over how to the equation to figure out superheat and subcooling. First, we are going to go over all the tools we need for the job. So first you're going to need a set of refrigerant pressure gauges, aka manifold gauges. Now this set I have is all digital and will tell the superheat and subcooling to you without you having to do any equations, but it does run a pretty high price. But you can get a normal pair for just, it'll be a little under $100. Second, you're going to need some kind of temperature reading device, thermometer or anything. I have my multimeter here with a temperature probe on the end that I will tape to either one or two of the refrigerant lines down here to get an accurate temperature reading. The first thing you are going to want to do is hook the blue low pressure side hose to this thicker copper tube down here to get your low pressure readings. And I'll show you how to do that quick. And you don't want to cross, you want to make sure you got it on there straight so you get a nice seal and you don't cross thread any of the threads or anything like that. Then you are going to want to hook up this red tube to the thinner copper line down there known as the liquid line. The thicker copper line is known as the vacuum line. Now make sure on this one you really want to be quick when you put it on there, because you could get some refrigerant discharge shooting out and that, like that. Now when you look at these, you want to make sure there's no frost building up on either the brass pieces here or the service valves down here, because that means you got a leak, or you don't have it on there all the way, or you got a bad O-ring or seal in there inside your hose there. Now to find subcooling, you just go ahead and set your probe on there. You don't need, if you're getting a reading for a longer amount of time, you want to put some tape on it, but for right now we can just hold it on there and that'll work. And then you can just go ahead, and right now we're at 75, so we want to remember that. When we come over here, we take our saturated temp right there, and we want to take 89 minus 75, which gives us about 14 degrees subcooling. So we are a little overcharged, but not too bad. Now to find superheat, you want to take your temperature of your thick vacuum line over here, get it over there using the probe. See there, we got about 45. And this is to find superheat. Now superheat is different. So we had about 45. You take your temperature you have on the line, and you take your saturated temperature minus your saturated temperature on your gauges here. So we had about 45 minus 8, that's about, we got 7 there. That's basically what we want for superheat, maybe one off, but that is about right. Now I'm going to go over the reasons why superheat and subcooling are called what they are. So on your liquid line, when you're checking subcooling, as it comes out of that outdoor condenser unit, it is, through that unit, it is expelling heat and cooling down, aka, which is also why it's known as subcooling. And as the refrigerant travels through into that indoor evaporator coil and comes back out, you are getting the superheated temperature, because on the inside it is absorbing heat, heating up. Even though that line may be colder, it is still called superheat just because of that. Now I know I explained this outside, but I want to explain it a little more in detail in here, because it might be kind of hard to understand. So when you are doing superheat, you want to take the temperature reading off of your pressure gauges there. Say you got 15 there, and then you want to subtract that from what you got on your say on your vacuum line. So on your, what you got with your thermometer. So say we got like 28 there, that would mean we would have about 13 degrees superheat. So we subtract that there, you get 13. Now for subcooling, it is the opposite. You want to take your saturated temp, which is the temp on your gauges. Say we got, so we got 80, and then you want to take whatever temp you got on your thermometer. So we got 68. It would give us about 12 degrees subcooling. So these two are opposite. On superheat, you want to take your thermometer temp minus your saturated temp on your gauges. Now on this, you want to take your saturated temp on your gauges minus your thermometer temp. On a last note, remember to be safe about it. Check over your equipment, everything you need. Check over your pressure gauges, and make sure to follow this tutorial step by step, and you should be alright. And I hope this reaches the people it does, whether you are an upcoming HVAC technician or you're just someone who wants to learn a little bit and maybe save some money in the future. And I hope you guys reply to me and reply back with your own videos and show me what you know. Thank you.